Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Alisa Yanasan. I'm emergency physician from the Department of Medical Service, Thai Ministry of Public Health. Today, I'm presenting the topic on risk communication during the COVID-19 response on Thailand experience. Before we start, I would like to inform you that during the COVID-19 response for almost a year now, I have been working as the liaison officer at the Public Health Emergency Operations Center of Thailand. So I'm sharing in terms of the coordination between the PHEOC and the risk communication function. So today, I will talk about the PHEOC and the risk communication function under the PHEOC. And next, I will talk about the standard operating procedure that our risk communication function used during emergency. And next, I will talk about the key challenge that the EOC find during this crisis time, which include the public engagement, the infodemic management, and the access to the vulnerable group, and then conclusion. So our Public Health Emergency Operations Center has the structure like this. We have the incident commander who is in charge of all the decision making, policy setting, and that person is the permanent secretary. Under the incident commander, we have the SAT team or the situation awareness team and STAC team on the right, which is the strategic advisory group. Then we have the liaison team to coordinate interagency, interministry, and inside the ministry as well. So then we have the operation function, point of entry, logistic and stockpiling, finance and administration. And for the risk communication is also one of the function under the PHEOC, one of the key function that we communicate with the non-health sector and public. So according to that PHEOC, during the COVID-19 response, so we've been conducting the daily meeting, daily EOC meeting every day at 7:30 a.m. And this is the daily information flow that all the function under the PHEOC structure would do the presentation of the situation awareness team, of the planning and scientific response update, any operation on field, and others related issue at this meeting, daily basis. And every day after the meeting, the liaison team would create the 3 outputs. The first one is the executive summary, which will be sent to all the directors under the MOPH and all the health region inspector to have this, to make sure that all the director and all the policy maker are on the same page. The second output from the EOC meeting is the policy and direction, which will be concluded and signed out by the permanent secretary to all the department or division under the Ministry of Public Health, to all hospital under the Ministry of Public Health and all the health region. So everybody would know what is going on and which direction we would have to follow. And lastly, the output from the EOC meeting is the point of summary that we would like to coordinate with the non-health sector. Because we would have the daily, because of the the government house would have the daily meeting after our EOC meeting. So our EOC meeting start at 7:30, and the government house would host the meeting at 8:30. So all the point from EOC meeting would be shared as soon as possible to the government house meeting. And then the CCSA, or the Center for COVID-19 Situation Administration, would conclude our point and share it to the risk communication or strategic communication team to then set up the meeting with the spokesperson team to create the risk communication and all the press, to the press release. So that's all the information flow. So our risk communication has the standard operating procedure. The objective of this SOP for our staff is to use as the guiding protocol for everyone. So even if we change the staff or recruiting new person, people will know what to do. And the theme is to have a timely response, effective communication, and also for health literacy of people. And for public, of course, it's for health literacy, increase awareness, decrease social panic, self-protection, community protection, and risk awareness. So the SOP has two main parts. Part one is on the picture on the right that you can see. We have the preparedness part. During the preparedness part is the time before we activate the EOC or activate before we call it emergency or crisis. So the risk-com SOP that make sure that we do the constant risk assessment, data and information analysis, making the planning, and if the team decided that that's risk or situation considered as emergency, they would activate the emergency situation and also inform all the other function and the EOC. So the incident commander would be informed and then arrange the press release and the taking point. And during crisis or emergency, on the gray column on the right, after the activation of the EOC, the risk-com committee under the PHEOC will be activated automatically, and they would do information analysis, planning information for specific issue, specific group of affected population, and specific area of the country. And they would have the daily risk-com meeting after the EOC meeting, and they conduct the press release. In Thailand, we have two main press release daily. The first one is at the government house, and another one is at the Ministry of Public Health in the afternoon. And so it is a daily job that the team has to be very, very strong and work very hard. Then I would like to talk about the key challenges during this COVID response. Actually, there are many more challenges, but because of the time, I would just like to give 3 examples. The first one is the issue on the public engagement. Another one is the infodemic, which is the term that they use. And another one, the last point is the vulnerable group assessment. So let's go to the public engagement. The risk communication team applying the communication theory to use in this situation. The communication theories that say that we have to have SMCR, which are the sender, the message, the channel, and the receiver. So in Thailand situation, message at the center is a spokesperson team and also the village health volunteer, which we have 1 million volunteers all over the country. And the message has to be this clear, concise, concrete, correct. This is the theoretical part. And we choose that we have one main media from the government, from the CCSA, that to decrease the confuse of the people. So we would have only one main media and use, even with the social media, one reference site would be from the government house and Thai Ministry of Public Health. And the receiver of our message are the population, journalists, and international agencies. What we find as the challenge for the public engagement is that how we would communicate HARSA without causing the social panic, and how we would simplify all the disease, all the virus, how they spread to other, from medical message to people to be understand. And also we would have to make sure that make the mutual understanding with all the journalists and the public for sharing news responsibly. And also how would we know that what are the people or public think, or what are their level of awareness now, so we can change our plan or put another strategy to get people at the same page. So we conduct the national survey in collaboration with many agencies, including WHO, University, National Statistical Office, and National Health Security Office on the public perception on COVID-19 situation. We conduct this survey regularly on the self-protection behavior based on the gross at the national level, at the regional level, and provincial level, so we can coordinate with the non-health sector to participate in each province or each region. And also we can also survey on the social interaction behavior, because people tend to go or travel as the group, to eat, to have lunch or dinner as the group. So during the outbreak time, we want them to be distancing. So we conduct this survey on this behavior as well. And also recently, the vaccine perception is what the government and the Ministry of Public Health want people to understand correctly, because there are lots of panic or scared on the side effect of the vaccine. So we have to stress on the vaccine issue this time. And also the utilization of the government's application which are related to COVID-19. We have few applications for contact tracing and to warn people if they go into the high risk area. And still the percentage of the application using is still not very high. So we would have to try to find why and how to engage them to use this application. Next, please. So what we do, one of the key strengths that we believe that helps us to engage with people is the spokespersons. We have a strong spokesperson, Dr. Turisin. He is a psychiatrist and he understands how to deal with people, how to give information that is quite scary to make it as the good tone message and make people understanding, increase awareness instead of causing the panic. And also we have the strong team to prepare the information of the COVID-19 situation to keep the society update with the trustworthy. And also we try to, so we decided that it is a single citation. All the news that is reliable must be from the MOPH and the government house. And then we also conduct the regular surveillance and constant survey to be able to know the direction of what society think, what people think, so we can do the information operation and give and through this difficult time, the society would not be very frustrated. Next challenge is the infodemic. The terms infodemic has been recently discussed about in the risk communication society. Infodemic is an overabundance of the information. Some is accurate, some is not, that make it hard for people to find trustworthy source and reliable guidance when they need it. So what we find during this COVID-19, that we have a lot of COVID-19 experts on social media, especially all the reviewer who's been reading news from internet, and they go live on Facebook, discuss about what's wrong with the national policy, what's maybe the Ministry of Public Health trying to hide something, or we are delaying or something like that. So we have a lot of challenge with this social media. We have some fake news. Some would take advantage from the outbreak to the political issue, which can cause the untrust to the government. Some may cause the resistance, and some may cause the panic. So what we do in the next slide, with all the function under the PHEOC, we have the Department of Mental Health to conduct the social panic scale, which we could have some big picture of how society think of the situation, how is the mental health status of the society. So every month we conducted survey on effect of COVID-19 to Thai population's mental health, which we would do the survey on the stress, anxiety, and panic level, the activity that they plan for the festival after the new wave of COVID-19, and their perception with the people who traveled from the red zone, and their plan for the festival, maybe the New Year, the Chinese New Year, or the next upcoming Songkran festival, which usually before the COVID, people tend to travel as the group all over the country. So we want to know that what's their plan, what's their new plan as the new normal, new year of festival planning. And in mental health, sleeping problem is one of the key indicators reflecting the overall people's health status. So we also ask how is the sleeping, or is there any insomnia problem among the people, and the effect of the COVID-19 on activity of daily life, how life is changed after the new wave of COVID-19. That's what we want to know. And we can also try to give the right information, the right way of self-protection, or maybe we can propose to the policy maker to give some other social intervention to decrease the level of stress in the society. So what we do according to manage the infodemic, as I said before, that we have a lot of experts on social media. So we finally decided that we would invite all the person who go live on Facebook and have a lot of followers to join our intelligence team as the committee to support the open science and obtain information from the secure source. So they would be the team with the Ministry of Public Health, not only to, and we also gain other information, but we also make sure with them that we would have to share and put the information to public responsibly and from the reliable resource. Then we can all these experts, who they are mostly from the academic sector, so they feel that they are part of the team, and what they did on Facebook or on other social media is less and less against the government. And we also believe that with the strong risk communication team and strong coordination with the PHEOC would be able to assist us to give the right information to public. Also, strong risk-com team would support the open data, protect privacy, report harmful rumors, and the team also has to keep learning because it has been a challenge for a year. So this is what we do to deal with the infodemic. The last point that I would like to present is the vulnerable groups. Everybody knows that inclusion and diversity is the topic that we would have to, that we cannot forget. So in our society, we have all the disabilities, the blind, the deafness, the deaf, and minority and migrants, which they might be difficult for them to access to all the information, how to protect themselves, how which area is the red zone or which area is the yellow zone, or which control measure has been recently declared by the government. So they are the second or the third group to know. So this has been a challenge. So what we do is we collaborate with all related sectors, other ministry as well. And also we open for the volunteer from the migrants to join the MOPH team, creating the channel to communicate with the migrants and also illegal workers. However, the Facebook engagement is still not very high, as we know that the cause of the new wave of the outbreak has been related to this group. So we're still working very hard on this, how to get a lot of collaboration and engagement with these people to decrease the spread and how we can confine all the infection in some area. So this is a current challenge that we encounter, and we're still working every day on this. Also, we try to coordinate with NGO and other ministry, and still, as I mentioned, that it is still an issue that we discuss on our daily EOC meeting. So in summary, I would like to say that the key success factor for the risk communication in Thailand experience is the strong leadership with the policymaker engagement and constant information update, constant public survey, strong coordination both horizontally and vertically, single citation to build trust and not causing any frustration, and strong risk communication team to create a strategic communication strategy. We still have the key challenge on the diversity and inclusion, and with the dynamic situation with health and non-health issue is still a challenge that we are encounter. So this is all of my presentation on the COVID-19 response from Thailand. Thank you very much.